Okay, I told my grandkids that I would paint a picture with them today. They're all in their homes because they're all homeschooled now and their schools are closed, like all schools are. So I looked around to see what we could paint together, and I'll often look and see if there's a flower in bloom. And I have some violets in bloom in my yard, but I'll bring those in a different day. So today I found forsythia. This is from a bush. It's down by the garden, and it's the first sign of spring. When you see this forsythia, those beautiful yellow blooms, then you know spring's on its way, and I always love that it's in bloom. So it's in bloom right now, so I thought, well, this is a very easy thing to paint because we're going to create a line. It might not be a straight line because this is kind of curved, and then there's another line that comes off of it, and so it's just going to be easy to paint. So I've got my, no, actually I'm not going to use the pen. Let's go ahead and I'll use just the paints, and then I'll come back in with a marker. So I've got some paints here, and I've got all colors of yellow. And so I'm going to use those. First I'm going to use a brown. Got my paper here. This is a card, so I'm only going to use on half of it. I'm just using it as actual watercolor paper, but I'm going to start with some brown. I've got two browns here that I'm going into, and I'm going to kind of make that line that we talked about, that we saw in the branch. So I've kind of made this line here that we're seeing in the branch, and then we kind of see that the branch is coming off of that one too. So here we go, and maybe we're just going to make this go off the page because that's kind of pretty. Okay, so we've got the basic branch, and I'm not going to worry about filling it in right now because the blooms are going to be in a lot of places, and I just fill the blooms in there, and then you'll see the branch on the top and you'll see the branch on the bottom. Now for the blooms, let's look at them for a minute. So the branch is this main branch, but look how the flowers come off. It's almost like they come off on another branch. And here they're grouped, but they're actually coming off of this branch, and it looks like they're coming off one on each side. Can you see that? One on here and one on here. And these are just close together, but they're the same thing. There's one on here and one on here. And then look, so the branch is kind of a brown, but let's look what happens up closer to the leaf, these are the blooms. The leaves haven't come out of this branch yet, but they're going to come, the green leaves, when these yellow flowers go away. So, but there's green. So there's green under the flowers and wherever they connect to the branch. Now the other thing we might want to notice is, look, the flowers have 1, 2, 3, 4 petals, and they're yellow, and they're thin, and they're almost straight. And then it's a center, and in the center you can see the yellow too. So I think that what we'll do is just now go to our yellow paints, and man, look how many colors of yellow I've got. I've got quite a few colors of yellow, and I can just grab a little bit of each of them. And then I don't know that I need to trace that 4. Well, actually I am putting them that way, but I don't know that you need to do just the 4 petals. You can even do the petals in a pen after and just put color where you want to put color here. But this one I actually did do a little 4, and this one I did do a little 4. And remember, it was on both sides of the branch, so now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to bring and kind of make it a 4. And this was up really close and tight, so you don't always see each individual flower, so I'm just going to give a lot of yellow right here. And I'm not even actually making each of the blooms. I'm just putting yellow on that branch. And I can make the distinction after when I come back, because I can come back with my pen and create anything individual that we want to, or just highlight certain things that we want to with a pen. So again, there's kind of some yellow. I hope that this is filming so you can see flat. Let's move it out just a little bit. I got a catalog that had a whole bunch of yellow flowers in it too, but we're just going to use this branch right now. And so I think I talked about when I've painted before that there's just not, even though it looks like one color, there's not just only one color there. So I'm kind of bringing another color here. That might be a little too orange, but we can dilute that with some yellow. Well, let's bring a little more yellow. Okay, oh, let's kind of go over here a little bit. So it's a little bit wider there. And now we're coming, and oh, let's just use this one down here. Remember we talked about how they come off the branch, and then sometimes they're even on another branch that's attached to the main branch? That's what's happening right here. So I'm going to bring some of these little branch or flower-like petals, I think they're petals, over here. Now remember, I can make them more specific and more individual with the pen after, so even if you're just getting a little bit of your color on here, that's just what you want to have happen. And we saw that this branch goes right up to this branch, but this branch has this space where either some petals have already come off, or it grew that and then started its flowers after. So if I'm on a little branch here, I think the first one went right up to the big branch, and so let's just bring our colors right up there. And then how about let's bring another branch. I'm going to do just a little bit of gray or brown, but I'm not going to have it all attached so that I have space for the flowers in there. And now I'm going to kind of create some of those four-petaled branches, or flowers like we saw earlier. Bring it up here so we can see, and oh, look at, you can even see some of the green. So I'm going to put a little bit of green down there in a minute when I get those flowers. Oh, let's do some more here. I'm going to get another little deeper color. And it might not be quite orange but I do think there's some orange in there. If you looked really close, we would probably dissect some orange color. So I'm going to mix that a little bit with the yellow. I think it makes it pop a little more, makes it show up a little bit more. And then the other thing that I've noticed is this branch isn't just straight. Look at these little marks along it. So I'm just going to kind of create those with my, oh, I still have yellow on. Let's just finish this yellow right here where that's blooming, and maybe just a little bit more. And now I'll go and I'll get some browns. I'm using two different browns here, mixing them together. And I'm going to come in and I'm kind of going to show some little things on our branch here that, remember, we're seeing groupings, and the groupings have a little kind of a branch knob there. That's not branch knob, just little, where another branch might be starting. And so I'm going to do that same thing over here. And this one actually might be a really good one to be able to put some more flowers on. I'm going to put just a couple little marks here so that we can see the branch isn't just straight. It actually comes off a little bit, so it's not just completely straight. So here we go. And the branch is a little fatter than just one line, so I'm going to make it a little bit fatter here on this main branch. I'm not going to make this one fatter or that one fatter, but I'm going to make that this one a little bit fatter. Now through the flowers we might see a little branch through here, and we're going to bring some green in, and so we will see the green, but let's do that. Okay, so let's look. We're kind of showing a little bit of spring like we're seeing, but when I'm looking now, I'm seeing more green. Maybe I've already seen the yellow because I've already put it on here, but now I'm seeing quite a bit of green. So I am going to come back, and my flowers, they're kind of dry. I should have brought my heat gun in here. I have a way that I dry things pretty quick. I think you've all seen my heat gun, and I think we might need it, or we'll just have to pause for a minute, or paint somewhere else on the picture, because the heat, I don't have the heat gun in here, and I'll bring it in for next time. What the heat gun does is, I don't think Bennett and Ryan, Eliza have seen the heat gun. Oh, no, we did when we did encaustics when you were here. It's that same heat gun that we used for those that now I've started to use with my watercolor, because it helps them dry so fast. And sometimes, like right now, I wish they were a little more dry, the flowers, so that I could add a little more green than I'm adding, but I'm not able to do that quite yet. So I'm just going and catching other places in the picture that might want a little bit of green. And I noticed on this branch, it's not quite all brown, and so I'm going to add a little bit of green tint to that, because it's just not all and only brown. And then the other thing that I noticed when I'm holding it like this branch is lighter on the top and darker underneath. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of light. Let's actually even see if we can't make, oh, look, we can. A little bit of light on the top of the branch, whichever you decide the top. This one is the top for these, so I'm going to make this a little lighter here. And then under it is where we can go and just kind of gives the picture the look like, that's my phone, just we're going to have to ignore that. Like the branch is a little bit round. And I'm not succeeding in doing a lighter color here. So I'm going to have to wait till the brown is dry, and then we're going to be able to come back under and make it just a little darker on the bottom and a little lighter on the top. Let's look at what else we see over here. So down here you can see that this branch branched out, and this branch is off of it. So we could actually, if we wanted to make a little more composition on our page, we could bring another branch in here. See? And remember, on this one we thought, oh, there's a little bit of green in there. So here we go. We're going to just bring a little bit of green in with the brown. And it's looking pretty thin, skinny, but I don't want to get it too thick yet, because we want to get some flowers on there if we decide to put flowers on there. Okay, I'm going to come in here, and it's just almost dry, and I'm going to try to add some green in here to some of our flowers, because we see the green at the base of the flowers. So we're going to put some green, and I'm going to put it there because some of those flowers actually are coming up a little more off the branch. So look at that. You don't even have to really get it exact, because in the yellow you can't even really see each individual flower, but you know that the flowers at their base kind of have a green that they're offering before they come into the flower. So I'm actually going to go like this so I can put some more yellow flowers up there. So we'll finish up this one, guys, and then tomorrow, if you want to come on my site and you want to look there and have your paints ready and your paper ready. Then I think we'll paint some purple flowers tomorrow. The purple flowers are what did I say before they were? They're not pansies because I don't have pansies in my yard, but they're violets. They're kind of related to the pansies. They're violets. And some people think that violets, they grow so easily, and they start to grow in your yard. And so some people kind of view them as weeds, but I don't view them as weeds. And Great-Grandpa Packer did not view them as weeds. He'd always say, some people think these are weeds, but I sure don't. They're so pretty. Okay, how's your pictures coming? Did you get your branch done? And then you've got some flowers on it. And until this dries, I'm kind of at a standstill. And so I'm going to talk for just a minute. So I've always told you when you're painting with me, I sure like you to put your name on the picture. So I think now's a good time you could sign your picture. And then I've got another pen that might work for it doesn't do well when the paint is wet because it smears this brush. But let's just, because we can't go back and paint, let's just go back and put some lines in here on the stems so they look a little more real, because you know what? They're usually a little more knobby than how I originally painted them, and I've run into water, so my pan does not want now to. So I'm going to have to wait for a minute because that kind of made it so it wouldn't dry. I kind of really wanted to show you the inking, but we're going to have to do that. And I'm looking at the picture now, and I'm going, you know what? Branches aren't only just brown. So let's just make this a little happier branch with a little bit more color here. And maybe when you look at this branch, you may not see exactly a green-blue color, but there really are more colors there than you're actually seeing, and so it always just kind of makes your picture more interesting if you get just a little bit of variety of colors. I'm going to bring some of these colors down here, and you know, I made those knobs come off of this branch, and they kind of came off before there's paint there now. Okay, I think that adds a little bit, just in the little bit that we did. Oh, here I wanted that one's still pretty brown. Okay guys, I'm going to have to stop this. I hope you got as far as I did, and maybe I will come back on and we can do a video later today where I'm putting the ink on this picture, and then come back tomorrow because we're going to do violets. Okay, thanks guys, love ya, bye bye.